Hey guys, for today's video, I'm going to be doing an eye look using the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. So this has been one of my time and true favorite palettes that I've ever owned. And it is my favorite palette out of the whole Naked line. Even though these shades are very ashy and cool toned, I find this to have the most versatility in it in terms of the color story and the shimmers. Not so much the mattes, but definitely the shimmers. And I just find that this palette offers a lot. So I'm really sad to be saying goodbye to this. But before I declutter it completely, I wanted to do some eye looks using it. Now, because this was my favorite palette, I didn't know it was being discontinued at the time. So once I found out, it was already too late. But I was looking at Facebook Marketplace and I tried to order the palette, like a newer version of it. But it happened to be fake. So that's a lesson learned to me. But yes, I couldn't tell it was fake at the time, but once I got it, you can tell by the lettering that it's fake. But I'll compare the colors for you guys as well. So I'll get right into the tutorial first, and then at the end, I'll compare the colors of the original to the colors of the fake palette. So I already did my base makeup, but I'll just share with you guys the products that I used. So for the base, I used the e.l.f. Hoodie Primer, but the luminous version. And then on top of that, I used the L'Oreal True Match Glotion in 902 Light Glow. Then I mixed these two foundations together. I used the Maybelline Super Stay 24 Hour Skin Tint. This is the shade 120, and then I mixed it with the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Neutral Foundation, and this is the shade N4 Neutral. Then what I did for concealer is I used the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer, and this is the shade Buff Beige M150. So I use this for just the lids, and then for the under eyes, because I have very thin baggy under eyes, I use the NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum, and this, I believe it's the shade, oh yes, it's Vanilla, so in the shade Vanilla. Then for bronzer, I use the Physicians Formula. This is the Donut Bronzer. It's limited edition. This isn't my favorite one, but I've been trying to use it up. And then for my eyebrows, I use the NYX. This is the Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Ash Brown. And so far, those are the products I use. Okay. So I didn't use the blush yet because I wanted to talk about it, but this is the shade Dollface by Tarte. So I used to watch Mariah's videos here on YouTube, and she would talk about cool tone blushes, and this was like the perfect bubblegum pink blush. And this was before the bubblegum pink trend was popular, so I thought it was really interesting. And I've had this for years, and I used it for a long time every day. And then my sister would take it from me, so she used it a lot too, and she really loved it. It doesn't look as scary in the on the cheeks as it does in the pan. And I find this to be more flattering for like a bubblegum pink shade for me. But I'll just apply it here on camera. You can use quite a bit without it being too much. So that's what it looks like. And the reason why I pulled this one out was this is the one I used a lot during the time. And I'm kind of doing a throwback eye look with the palette today. So yes, this is what it looks like. It's just a pretty, it gives such a pretty like doll or kind of like Barbie doll flush to your cheeks, but in a nice, more natural, subtle way. So I really like this. And you can kind of just build it up and go crazy with it, and it won't look like too much. Okay. Okay, as for the palette itself, now I'll get into the tutorial. So I have the Naked 2 one somewhere, but I just decided to pull out the Naked 3 because I know I had the brush. Okay, for the crusty, dusty palette that I have. This is it. It's so old. It's so old, but yeah, I wanted to use to do some different looks for you guys before I declutter it completely. I have some other tutorials on my channel with this one, but I still wanted to do some newer ones. So I'm gonna set the eyes using the shade Foxy. This is that very, it's like the lightest shade in the palette. First one. And then I'm just gonna put that all over my eye. Just like that. Okay. Okay, next I'm gonna go into the shade Tease. So that's the like mauvey, nudish, purpley, grayish kind of shade. It's very ashy. This is the one where I feel like this is almost too ashy. Even on me, it leans a little bit ashy. But I'm gonna apply it kind of like in the crease and on the outer V of the eye. So I'm gonna start off with that. I didn't always use the shade Tease. Sometimes I would just go straight into a shimmer, but I'm more comfortable with using mattes now too, so I'll start off with this at least. It's so weird. I'm used to using more like round brushes now, whereas this one's more like dense. So it's like weird using this one. Now I use the e.l.f. one all the time. But these brushes are pretty nice though. I do really like their brushes from the palettes. Okay. So I will show you guys too, like my go-to look, and that's what I'm doing today. This was like my all-time like go-to look when I use this palette. This is actually the palette that also got me into cool tones. Like this was probably my favorite cool tone palette ever. Just because the gray, it has some green in there. It has more of a green undertone and less of a blue undertone, so I find it more flattering for me. And yeah, that's what I really like with this palette. And the gray, they have like a silver white shade where it's more on the white side, less on the like gray. I'm not saying it doesn't have gray because it's silver, but it's more of a flattering silver to me than some other palettes with silvers in them. Some of them lean more gray. And I don't love that all the time. So I really like that this one's more bright. And this palette definitely has my favorite silver in it. So I'm really sad that it is discontinued now. Okay. Okay, next I'm going to be using, this was my all-time favorite shade. Yes, this was it. This is Verve, okay. And you can tell it's my all-time favorite because look at the pan on that one. So I'm gonna try to use the brush at first, but honestly, I just kind of dig my finger into it. But yeah, this is the shade, and this was the shade I absolutely raved about. I loved it so, so much. Like, I'm not even kidding. This was my favorite shade. And to me, this was like the prettiest silver where it wasn't doing too much. It wasn't too overly cool tone, if that makes sense. So I loved it. I shouldn't say they're all cool tone, but it wasn't overly smoky. It was just a nice silver. Okay, I am gonna dig my finger into this shade just to get more pigment, but it's not too bad with the brush. So we're kind of like, this was the look I always went for, guys. Like, seriously, especially in 2017, 2016, 2017, even 2014, 15 era, this was the palette that I was just so in love with. Not even kidding. Okay. Oh. Okay, so next what I would do is I actually did I think I did this from like a YouTube tutorial I saw, but I used 3 different shimmer shades. So then I went in with YDK. This was like my favorite fall look. I actually really went hard for like cool tone fall looks. So, and then I would put it right in the middle here. This is actually, now if I were to look at this palette, this shade right here has to be like, this might be my like favorite, to be honest. But it doesn't perform the same. That's why I don't like love it as much. But if it did, this would be my favorite shade probably now. It is such a pretty, like almost purpley kind of shade. It's really pretty though. Okay. That's what I would use. So I would use this, and then I would go in with that last shade, which is Busted, and I would put it in the outer V and in the crease. So I didn't care. I would use shimmers in the crease. I was just like that. So I'm gonna start off with the small side, kind of do that, and then I'll go with the bigger fluffy side and do the same thing. And my application's not the best, but hopefully you guys can see it a little bit more now. That's basically the type of look I would do. And I would do this look when I went out. I would do this for work, you name it, especially during fall time. This is my favorite look in the fall. Okay, so now I used all those shades. Sometimes I would use a liner, but I think by this time period, I kind of like didn't use the liner a lot. Okay guys, so next I'm gonna go in with the Essence Lash Princess mascara. I don't remember exactly what mascara I used to use, but we're gonna use this because I feel like it works better. I know I use the Maybelline Great Lash a lot and other Maybelline mascaras, especially the Lash Sensational and different Maybelline mascaras. So I really like those too, but this one will give me the most length on camera. Okay, it's starting to look better and come together more. Okay, so, and I don't wear like fake lashes during this time, really, to be honest. I don't think I even know how to apply them that well, so. I should say, when I say this time, I mean like 2014 to 2017. Yeah, I wanted to, but I did not know how to apply lashes, so. Okay. So yes, so this is basically like the look I would do, and then sometimes I would wear lip gloss or a lipstick. I'll show you guys which lipstick I wore a lot. So the one I would wear like in 20, like between 20, I would even say in high school I wore this sometimes, but especially like 2014 on. This is Revlon Mauve Nights. Was my go-to. I still really love this lipstick, so I'll show you guys. It kind of goes along with my top. Overall, I feel like the shade's really pretty for the fall time as well. But this would be the lipstick I wear. So I really like this lipstick too, and it kind of goes along with the look. I don't really wear lip liners at this time, or like around that era of time. Now I wear lip liners more. But yeah, this is the look, guys. Okay, so I'm going to compare the original, or the original Naked 2 palette to the fake Naked 2 palette. So this one I got off of Facebook Marketplace, so unfortunately it's fake. But yes, I got it off there, so shouldn't be surprised. But I'll compare the colors. Maybe I'll do them one by one. So this is the original Foxy shade. We'll start with that. Let's see. So yeah, this kind of it's like almost like a skin tone shade for me. It's very light, so it's kind of hard to see it, guys. So you don't really get much of that. But let me compare it to this one. This one looks a little different. I don't know. I feel like the mattes I can really kind of tell. Oh, look, and it looks more pigmented because it's newer. But yeah, there's them side by side. You can barely tell with this one. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So this shade is Half Baked, and I'll compare it with the other Half Baked. Okay, now you can kind of more tell. Let's compare the two. Oh, this is so similar. So the real one is on the left and the fake is, oh wait. Wait. Now I'm confusing myself. Okay. No. The real one is on this side, the fake is here. And look, wait, no. We're gonna swatch this better for you guys so you can see it. Okay, let me put it up here. This is the real Half Baked. This is fake Half Baked. Okay, so you can kind of see. Pretty similar though. Okay, let's move on to real and then fake. So Real Booty Call, these names. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna go with it. Okay, I have to This palette, again, it's lost its pigment throughout the years, so, but this is the real one. Let's see the fake booty call. Real, fake. And guys, these shades are so light, it's really just hard to tell. And it's not picking up on camera that well, but that's fake. Okay. Next, I'm gonna go into Chopper. It's gonna be the real Chopper. I wish the camera picked this up a little bit better, so I apologize. Real Chopper. Fake Chopper. Okay, so I think it doesn't help that this palette is old because the quality is going downhill. I'll try to, by the way, this, okay, now you can kind of see it more. So real versus fake. Very similar. Again, these shades look pretty similar. It's almost hard to tell which one's real and fake. But this was the one I felt like that seemed very different. The tease from the real one versus the tease from the fake. This is the real tease. It's a very ashy, cool toned, mauve-y kind of shade. See that? Real, then the fake. I think the fake was a lot lighter from what I remember. I don't know though. No, it's just a little different in tone. Looks lighter in the pan though. See, this one's more clayish looking than this one. They're both kind of like weird kind of colors though. Then we got Snakebite. This is the real Snakebite. Here, I'll just put it on like this because it's just gonna be easier. So real Snakebite, and then we got the fake Snakebite. God, isn't it crazy? Okay, these you can kind of tell. The fake looks darker, but I don't know if it's just because this palette won't lose in its pigment, but I still think it's too different. I don't know, that's just me. Okay, next we're gonna go into, I believe, oh yeah, Suspect. This is the real Suspect shade. I'm gonna use this finger because the other one like has a lot of stuff on. This is kind of a unique, kind of taupey shade. Very different. Okay, so you can kind of see it, not super well. Next, I'll go into the fake Suspect. Wow, okay. It's just crazy to me how similar they almost look. I mean, they're different, but they're so similar, like you can barely tell. Okay, next. The thing with fake though, and what makes me nervous is I've heard sometimes that fake has lead in it, it has bad toxic ingredients. So that's why I don't want to use the fake. This one is Pistol. So this is the grayish shade in the palette. It has a green undertone to it rather than a blue one though that I do like about it. So this is Pistol from the real. Let's look at Pistol from the fake. Okay, wow, that is similar. Okay, so very similar. Wow, I'm actually like, wow, they came out with similar shades. It's too bad that it's fake. Okay. Next we have Burb. Burb was my favorite shade in the palette. It's like a really white silvery type of shade. So the real one, and you can see the real on my eyes. I apologize that it's not the best on my skin. This is the shade. It's kind of hard to see it on camera, to be honest. It's not really doing it justice. Okay, but you can kind of see it here. Let's look at the fake one. This will probably be more vibrant. Okay, yeah, it's similar. You can see it more than this, but this is real, this is fake, okay? Next one, excuse me, is, I believe it's called YDK. This is the third to last shade in the palette. Okay, so where am I gonna put this? Okay, maybe I'll put it on my other arm at this point, because I don't wanna. These swatches are harder to do than they make it look on the internet, guys. But this is the YDK shade from the real. Let's look at the fake one. Pretty similar. I'd say I like the real one a little bit more. Okay, a slight difference, but similar. Next one is Busted. So this is that really nice purpley dark fall kind of shade. I feel like all these shades look way better once they're actually on the eyes. But again, this palette's kind of old, so it's kind of hard to get all the pigment there, so I apologize. Okay, but there's that shade. Okay, next one to go into Busted on the fake side. Similar, so we can see it. They look very similar overall. Wow. Okay, pretty similar. Lastly, I'm gonna do the, is it called Blackout? So we'll do the Blackout from the Naked 2. This is a nice black, guys. This shade is actually very pigmented for black. I believe it's on the gray black side because it's cool toned. But it's got a lot of pigment to it, so props to them for that. Let's try the fake and compare it. Okay, wow. Yeah, they did a pretty spot on. So this is like real to fake. This side, real to fake on this side. So you guys can kind of see the difference and all the tones and shades. Again, not the best with swatching and my lighting's not the best in here, but just so you guys can see it. All right, you guys, but just so you can see it more up close, this is what the actual makeup looks like. These are the eyes, the lips. But yes, I really am going to miss this palette. I'll do some more looks for you guys before I completely declutter it. But that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching and hope you guys have a great day.